Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone to this session of the overview of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tatho Jayamudirayed. Nashtabrayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Lankhayate Girim Yatkripatam Mande Sri.Govardhana Tarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Ishwaram Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Dinamane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Madega Bandho Mat Sangin Mat Guru Man Mahadhana Man Nistaraga Mad Bhagya Madananda Namostute. Today we are overviewing the 14th chapter of the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is entitled The Disappearance of Lord Krishna. This is the chapter actually having 44 shlokas, and this chapter actually gives some indication about the disappearance of Lord Krishna. There are all descriptions about how Yudhishthira will develop this doubt as to whether Krishna has decided to roll up his leelas and gone back to his Swadhama. So those doubts are being expressed in this chapter mainly. And then Arjuna going to Dwaraka and then coming back. These are the main subject matters for discussion in this chapter. In the previous chapter, we saw that Narada telling Yudhishthira Maharaj that, you wait until the disappearance of Lord Sri Krishna and then you make your plans accordingly. So this chapter now explains the reactions of the Pandavas on the disappearance of the Lord. Yudhishthira Maharaj, at the beginning of this chapter, he is expressing his suspicions about the disappearance of Lord Krishna, because Yudhishthira Maharaj sends Arjuna to Dwaraka to call upon Lord Sri Krishna and for Arjuna to meet his various friends in Dwaraka, and also to hear from the Lord as to what he is planning next. As to what the Lord is planning next. So, in that itself, there is an indication, because the Pandavas were there with the Lord, Lord was there with the Pandavas, and the Lord was engaged in all the activities that were related to his avatara, which was basically the external reason for the avatara of the Lord is to re-establish dharma. And there was Bhumi Devi was overburdened by this impious kings. And Lord Krishna, he appeared in order to lessen the burden of Bhumi Devi. And by conducting the Kurukshetra war, the Lord actually accomplishes that purpose of his Leela. Although from the time the Lord appeared, from the time Lord Krishna appeared, he was involved in annihilating various kinds of asuras. The biggest annihilation in total happened through the medium of the great war in Kurukshetra. So that is now done, and Dharma has been re-established. Yudhishthira has been given his rightful place as the emperor of the world. So all these things have now been completed. And Pandavas also, although they lost all their sons, and they could get one son who is Abhimanyu's son, who their grandson. And so for Pandavas also, their lineage will not suffer. So the Lord has taken into account that also and made the arrangements. So now, as obedient servants of the Lord, Yudhishthira has sent Arjuna to Dwaraka to inquire from the Lord, what is our next program, like that. And for 7 months, Arjuna does not return from Dwaraka. For 7 months, Arjuna does not return from Dwaraka. And not only that, Arjuna's return from Dwaraka was getting inordinately delayed. At the same time, Yudhishthira Maharaj was also seeing many inauspicious omens in his Rajya. In the place where he was ruling, he could notice many ill omens. And then it is listing the ill omens that was seen by Yudhishthira Maharaj. It is said that the directions of eternal time changed. Seasons became irregular. People were becoming greedy, they were becoming deceitful, and people were adopting foul means of livelihood. Friends were cheating each other. There was misunderstanding between father, mother, and children. Even couples quarreled. So these are listed as list of ill omens observed by Yudhishthira Maharaj. Now, if we go back to these ill omens that are listed in this chapter, we will find that these ill omens are present around us all the time. It is very interesting. Yudhishthira Maharaj, the moment he saw these things, he immediately knew that something is going wrong. Because why were these considered ill omens? Because these things were not happening normally during the time of the rule of Yudhishthira Maharaj. So suddenly Arjuna has gone to Dwaraka, and now he's seeing in the various parts of the country, he's seeing these things. Seasons becoming irregular. Something that now we are very much used to. In Kali Yuga, we all, as people who have lived for X number of years, we see that the season regularity is no more there. We, in our very short lifetime, we are experiencing that. People becoming greedy, deceitful. Prabhupada says this is very normal in Kali Yuga. And adopting foul means of livelihood. Srila Prabhupada notes that in a godless society, people, they only want to make money by any means for sense gratification. So for them, they have no difficulty, or they don't even think for a moment whether the means of livelihood that I am adopting, is it a good one? Is it the right one? Nobody is bothered. Very easily, people are ready to accept any means of livelihood as long as it brings them some money with which they can enjoy, they can gratify their senses. But this, in Yudhishthira's time, it is being seen as an ill omen. And then the other ill omen that is noticed by Yudhishthira Maharaj is friends cheating each other. So, meaning in a normal society where dharmic values are still prevalent, you will not find friends cheating each other. And then next, ill omen speaks about misunderstanding between father, mother, and sons, etc. So this also, if everything is going by the way of dharma, then there will be no misunderstanding in the family, because the head of the family, his responsibility, according to the Srimad Bhagavatam itself, is that to make everybody follow the path of dharma, and the Grihanatha, the head of the family, it is his responsibility to ensure that everybody gets a chance to practice dharma, which will take them back to Godhead. And if everybody is following in that same line, then there is absolutely no question of having any misunderstanding. But when dharma goes, when dharma is no longer prevalent, then automatically everybody goes their own way. So there is misunderstanding. So Yudhishthira is saying that, and even couples, husband and wife, quarreling. So these are all the ill omens that Yudhishthira has noticed. And having noticed these ill omens, Yudhishthira will call Bhima, his next younger brother, and he will be speaking to Bhima. He says, I sent Arjuna to Dwaraka in order to know what Lord Krishna is planning now. And now 7 months, Arjuna has not returned. So he's asking Bhima, or he's rather sharing that thought with Bhima, is the Lord going to quit his earthly pastimes as Devarshi Narada indicated? Has that time already arrived? So the doubt has already come in Yudhishthira's mind, because Narada Muni has already given an indication that you wait until the Lord winds up his pastimes. Then you can, take whatever next step that you want to take. So now Yudhishthira is asking Bhima, should we get ready? Because if the Lord has already wound up his pastimes, then we have nothing to do here. You see, this is how pure devotees of the Lord look at, understand, and absorb the Leela of the Lord. It should not be seen on a sentimental or an emotional platform. Like it's like, some sad story, there'll be pathos music in the background, and Krishna leaving. It's not like that. Everything about the Lord is divyam. So even the Lord disappearing is also divyam, part of his Leela only. But when that happens, when the Lord, who is the self-same Lord who has appeared out of his causeless mercy, avatirnita, means who has come down from the realm to the material realm in order to please his devotees, in order to do paritranaya sadhunam, in order to do vinashaya cha dushkritam. When the Lord comes and when he completes, whatever he had planned to do, when all that is done, then the Lord will go back. And the devotees also look at their seva like that only. So then Yudhishthira is now asking Bhima, okay, so maybe the Lord has, quit his pastimes. And then Yudhishthira tells Bhima, actually it is because of the Lord's mercy that we got all this Aishwarya, our wives, our lives, the Vijaya that we got over our Shatrus, We became victorious over all our enemies simply by the Lord's mercy. Here Prabhupada notes that this is the sign of a devotee, that he factually realizes that everything is happening by the mercy of the Lord. Because generally when you say Aishwarya, when we say opulence, what does it mean? Opulence, a man who is opulent, it means I'm talking about the Vedic way of looking at it. Not that opulence means the one with the highest bank balance and who is engaged in all kinds of nonsense. No, that is Kali Yuga opulence. But generally, when we speak about Yudhishthira's opulence, when we speak about the great Rajarshi's opulences, it is that they have good wives, Dharma Patni, and then they will have good children, good progeny, who will be very dharmic in the way they do things. And then they will have land that gives abundant produce. Then they will have nice cows. And then they will have good praja, good people around them. You know, and that way everything will be very opulent. That is the type of opulence. Whenever we read Aishwarya, even in the material platform, we understand that Aishwarya consists of these things from a Vedic point of view. So Dharmapatni, children who are very dharmic, nice cow protection, there is abundance in the land. That means rains are coming in the proper time. So produce from the earth is coming in the proper time. So that is opulence. And because in the Vedic times, in Sanatana Dharma, all these people who were opulent, they very well knew from where this opulence is being sanctioned. By who is this being sanctioned? That is why in those days the kings were called Raja Rishis. They were not simply some sense gratificatory ruler who sat on the golden throne, ate on the golden plate, slept on the golden bed, and completely unaware of everything else. Not at all. They had Aishwarya like this. Not that you have, huge bank balance and you have cheaters all around you. Husband cheating wife, wife cheating husband, children cheating parents, parents cheating children. That is Kali Yuga opulence. Everybody has got money, so nobody cares for the others. No. The Vedic way of opulent living is like this. And Yudhishthira Maharaj is telling Bhima that we got all these things by the Lord's mercy. But now, so many omens, ill omens, are foreboding danger in the near future. And because of this, our intelligence is becoming diluted. So like this, he says, and then he is now expressing to Bhima what and what bad omens that I am experiencing. Yudhishthira Maharaj says, the left side of my body, my left eye, my left thigh, my left arms, they are all quivering. And my heart is palpitating due to some unknown fear, he says. So he says, this is a bad omen. So as per this Lakshana Shastra and other things, Samudrika Shastra and all those things, there are, so many omens, so if somebody feels that, for men, if the left eye is twitching involuntarily, left thighs and left arms are quivering, it is considered to be a bad omen. So Yudhishthira Maharaj saying, I am feeling or I am experiencing those omens. And then he says, various animals, he says, I can hear jackals crying at sunrise. He says, when I'm passing by, dogs are barking at me. And cows are passing me by my left side. So cow passing somebody by the left side is considered to be a bad omen. And he says, when I look at my horses, they look as if they're weeping. And asses are circumambulating me, Yudhishthira Maharaj says. And he says, the birds, the owls are shrieking. And the crows are shrieking in return. And that is making my heart tremble. Owls are nighttime birds, generally not considered auspicious at all. And among the daytime birds, the crow is considered to be a very inauspicious bird. So he says, I can hear the shriek of owls. I can hear the shrieking of crows, and pigeons are like messengers of death. They are coming. Pigeons are used as messengers generally. Now, he says, I am seeing pigeons, then I feel that they are carrying message of death. And then Yudhishthira Maharaj says, how the Panchabhutas are also seemingly showing bad omens. Yudhishthira Maharaj says, I can see smoke in the sky. Mountains are throbbing and there is thunder without clouds. See, these are all considered to be ill omens. And wind is blowing violently and I can see that clouds are raining blood. Sun's rays are declining and stars are appearing to be fighting amongst one another. And all the jivas around, it is as if they are all lit on fire. And he says, rivers, tributaries, ponds, reservoirs, and the mind are all perturbed. So the river is not flowing smoothly anymore. So everything is disturbed. And Yudhishthira Maharaj says, ghee is no more igniting fire. So all these things are considered to be ill omens. And Yudhishthira Maharaj is listing them one by one. He says, the calves of the cows, they are not sucking the teats of the cows. And nor are the cows giving milk. And bulls, they don't seem happy pasturing on the grounds. And the deities in the temple, to me, they seem as if they are crying. They seem as if they are about to leave. And he says, all the places, all our cities, our villages, gardens, ashramas, everything looking totally devoid of all luster. There is no life. And so Yudhishthira Maharaj says, the world which was fortunate to be marked by the lotus footprints of Lord Krishna. But now these signs are indicating that good fortune for this earth will no longer be there. So this is Maharaj Yudhishthira's suspicions. Like this, when Maharaj Yudhishthira was observing these various inauspicious signs, Arjuna is returning back from Dwaraka. And how Arjuna is coming back, that is also said. Arjuna is coming back with his head bowed down and tears from his eyes. And his dejection was unprecedented. Arjuna, we know that he has named Dhananjaya, he has named Vijaya, he has named Virya, So Arjuna is like that. He is a very chivalrous warrior. He is a very pleasantly disposed personality. And Arjuna means victory. Arjuna practically meant victory for the Pandavas. And that Arjuna now returning back from Dwaraka, is looking completely dejected. And his face, there's no blood on his face, completely gone pale. And from his eyes, it could be made out that he's very, very anxious. So immediately, Maharaj Yudhishthira is asking him various questions in the midst of all the friends. So he's asking Arjuna, are our friends and relatives in the Yaduvamsha, are they all happy? Are they all passing their time very, very happily? And our Matula, our uncle Vasudeva and his younger brothers, are they all very fine? Are they all very happy? Are all his wives and their sons and daughters-in-law happy? Vasudeva, he had many wives, He married Devaka's 7 daughters, including Devaki. So he's asking, are all his wives, their sons, their daughter-in-laws, are everybody happy? And then he's asking, how is Ugrasena? How is Hridika, Kritavarma, Akrura? He's taking all the main Yadu's names and he's asking Arjuna, are they all fine? Are they all happy? He's asking, how is Lord Balarama, the personality of Godhead, the one who is holding the hala in his hand? How is he doing? Is he very happy? Is he happily and pleasantly disposed? And then he's asking about the next generation. How is Pradyumna? How is Aniruddha? Are they all doing nicely? Are all the chief sons of Lord Krishna, along with their sons, are they all doing very well? And also Srutadeva, Uddhava, Nanda, Sunanda, are they all doing well? And do they remember us? Do they remember our welfare? Because they are all our ultimate well-wishers. Yudhishthira is so fondly remembering the Yadus because as far as the Pandavas were concerned, the Yadus and especially the chief Yadu is most merciful and always giving his full support to the Pandavas. So, the fact that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and Pandavas are his eternal servants, that aside, there is also very close familial, friendly, brotherly relationship between Krishna and the 5 Pandavas. And because of Krishna's friendship with the Pandavas, the entire Yaduvamsha, they are also very favorably disposed to the Pandavas. Because their chief Krishna is favorably disposed. So the entire Yaduvamsha is very favorably disposed to the Pandavas. And Yudhishthira Maharaj also always reciprocated in the same terms with the Yadus. So now he is inquiring one by one, he is taking the names. And then he is asking the question. Bhagavan api Govindo Brahmanyo Bhaktavatsalaha Kachit Pure Sudharmayam Sukhamaste Suhridvrataha. Now he is asking, Bhagavan api Govindo, Lord Govinda, Lord Krishna, Paramadivyotama Bhagavan, the protector of the cows and the Brahmanas, Brahmanyo Bhaktavatsala. He is Govinda, he is Bhaktavatsala, he is protector of the Brahmanas. Kachit Pure Sudharmaya. Krishna's assembly hall in Dwaraka is called Sudharma. So he is asking, Sudharmayam Sukhamaste Suhridvrataha. So is Lord Krishna enjoying his time in the assembly hall of Sudharma surrounded by his friends? Sukham, is he doing very well? Is he very fine? And then he says, Mangalaya cha lokanam, kshemaya cha bhavaya cha, aste yadukulam bodha, adyonanta sakhapuman. Lord Krishna and Lord Balarama, they are in the ocean of the Yadu dynasty. They stay in that ocean of the Yadu dynasty for the welfare, protection and progress of the entire universe. So it is not that just they appeared in the Yadu dynasty. And the Yadus, being protected by the Lord's arms, are enjoying life like the residents of the spiritual sky. Why? Because Dwaraka is more or less like a Vaikuntha, because Krishna and Balarama are there, the Yadus are living as good as being in Vaikuntha. And Yudhishthira Maharaj is again saying here that Lord and Lord Balarama appeared in the Yaduvamsha not only for the Yadus, but for the entire universe. But for the protection of all the jivas in the entire universe, Lord has appeared in the Yadu dynasty. And he is saying, Yadbahu Danda Guptayam Swapuryam Yadavorchitaha Kridanti Paramanandam Maha Paurushika Iva. That is, all these queens of Dwaraka, they are administering service at the Lord's lotus feet and enjoying everything that is actually cannot even be enjoyed by the wives of Indra. Why he is saying like this is because Dwaraka is in Bhuloka, and it is surpassing the levels of Indraloka also because of Lord Krishna's presence there. And he says that the great heroes of the Yadu dynasty, they are always completely fearless in every respect. And such fearless warriors are traversing the floors of this assembly hall called Sudharma. That means the Yadus were fearless because of their leader who was Krishna. So fearlessness of the Yadus is another quality that we will see in those people who are the associates of Krishna. We will also see fearlessness in those people who are completely surrendered to Krishna. If we accept the ashraya of Krishna, we will become abhaya. All fear will go away. Why? Because fear personified is afraid of this person called Krishna. So here the Yadus are protected by Krishna. He is their leader. So why would they fear at all? So Yudhishthira is glorifying the Yaduvamsha by all these various adjectives and explanations in his speaking to Arjuna. And then he is inquiring about Arjuna because Arjuna is his brother. And Yudhishthira is very, very worried about the welfare of Arjuna. So he's asking Arjuna, you're looking, your bodily luster is completely gone. Is your health all right? And he's asking, because you stayed in Dwaraka for too long, maybe did they neglect you or did they disrespect you in any way? Is that why you are looking like this? And he's asking, did anybody address you in unfriendly way? Or did anybody threaten you? And next he's asking, was it because somebody asked some charity from you and you could not give it? You could not keep your promise? Is that why your luster is gone? Is that why you are sad? Because Arjuna is known for all these things. All great Kshatriyas, they give their word, they would like to keep it. Arjuna especially, we have seen in many cases, Arjuna will give his word, I will kill Jayadratha by sunset tomorrow, if not I'll enter the fire. Sun is about to set, Arjuna is about to enter fire. When Arjuna is not able to save the children of the Brahmana, the newborn baby of the Brahmana, immediately he wants to enter fire because he said, if I cannot keep my word, then I might as well. I give up my life in fire. No, I'll enter fire and I'll give up my life. So Yudhishthira knows all these things. So he's asking Arjuna, why are you looking so lackluster? Is it because you being a person who has always given more importance to your word? Is it because of that? Is it because you could not give protection to those who approached you for shelter? Yudhishthira is asking Arjuna. This is another great quality of Kshatriyas, Kshatrayate. Anybody who says, I am in danger, please protect me, a Kshatriya will immediately take up arms to protect. That is the nature of Kshatriya. That is the duty also of Kshatriya. That is the Dharma. Kshatriya Dharma itself is that. So Yudhishthira is asking Arjuna, is that a reason why you are looking like this? Or have you contacted any woman of impeachable character? Or have you improperly treated a deserving woman? Or have you been defeated on the way by someone who is inferior to you or someone who is equal to you? So these are all reasons why a Kshatriya could lose his luster. A Kshatriya could lose his prowess. So Yudhishthira is questioning Arjuna by one. And then he is asking, have you not taken care of old men and young boys who deserve to dine with you? Have you left them and have you taken your meals alone? So this also a great warrior is not supposed to do. So he's asking, did you do something like that? Then he's asking the last question. Have you committed some unpardonable mistake which is considered to be abominable. So these are the 10 causes that Yudhishthira is listing to Arjuna and asking, is this why you are dejected? Is this why you are dejected? So 10 questions asked by Yudhishthira to Arjuna. And finally, in the 44th shloka of this chapter, Yudhishthira is coming to the point. He's asking Arjuna directly, are you feeling empty for all time because your most intimate friend, Lord Krishna? I can think of no other reason. So finally, Yudhishthira is asking Arjuna, is it because you have lost your most intimate friend, Lord Krishna? So, because in the next chapter, we'll be discussing this in detail. Any devotee losing the association of the Lord, for him, that would be the greatest calamity. Because the intimate bhakta of the Lord is always hankering for the sangha of his worshipable Lord. And losing that sangha means it is as good as losing life itself. So that is the position of Arjuna now. That is the position of the Pandavas now. And in the next chapter, we will discuss on this further. So this chapter 14 gets concluded here. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam Granth Raj ki jai. Participants can unmute themselves and ask questions. I have a question in the chat box already, so I'll take that first.